Welcome to Let's Face It, and I'm Lorraine Croston. My guest today is Joanne Reeder. She's a home organizer. If you've never used a home organizer, you have no idea what you're missing. Now, home organizer is a generic term, but what should you look for when you're hiring a home organizer, and what should you avoid?
Okay, one thing to look for is a home organizer that's going to give you a consultation. Somebody that's going to ask questions first. First of all, how many people are in the family? And if there's children, what ages are they? Lorraine, you know as a mother, when your daughter was a toddler, your needs were totally different.
Oh God, we had stuff everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Toddlers have a lot of stuff.
Second of all, find out if your home organizer is insured. You can ask for a certificate in insurance. That's very important.
Now, insurance, what do you mean insurance?
Okay.
Why would they, what is it about the insurance that's so important?
Okay, well, by having insurance, it's just like you have insurance for your car. Now, accidents happen. It's an accident nobody needs. So, if you had some priceless crystal that was accidentally knocked over by somebody in your household.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So if my kids break the crystal when they're, carrying it from the dining room to the kitchen, you say, oh, that's too bad. That was priceless crystal. Oh, well. However, if you've got a home organizer who's coming in and helping you and has moved the priceless crystal and it breaks.
Absolutely.
Then you have the insurance to at least try to replace it or to compensate. Okay.
So that's important too. And you also want to have either a letter agreement, a proposal, or a contract that's signed by both of you, just to say where the boundaries are and what work do you want being done. And another thing you'd like to know is ask your home organizer, do they charge by an hourly rate? Do they have a flat rate, certain minimum 3 hours or minimum 5 hours, or do they offer packages?
Okay.
And things to avoid is if your home organizer doesn't have insurance, I'd stay away from that.
I think that's a really important one.
And also, if there is no contract, well then, what you think you're going to get and what they offer you, there could be a problem there, and that's not going to make you happy. A home organizer should come in there and make everything calm and stress-free. By you both signing off an agreement, this is what we're going to do, you'll be happy with your results.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm in a previous life, I was a project manager. And part of the project management is we'd come up with what we termed as a statement of work, and it said, here's what we're going to do as part of the project. So essentially, your agreement is, here's what I'm going to do as part of the job. And why you do that is what we term as, you don't want to have scope creep. And the scope creep is that, oh, you did this, and by the way, can you go over here and do that? And oh, by the way, can you add this? It's not part of the original agreement. You can, but now we're going to renegotiate because we're outside of what we had agreed to do.
Absolutely.
And that's great. If they loved your work, you definitely want to continue to work with them, but it's going to be a new agreement for those areas.
Yeah, and it protects both parties of the agreement.
Of course, you don't want someone who kind of shortchanges you. You think you've agreed that they're going to, in my case, take care of the basement.
Okay.
Well, if they only do half the basement, they didn't take care of the basement. So I could see where that would protect you, or that protect me if I didn't get the full work or the full value. Okay, that makes sense.
And just the one last point I'd like to make is that you don't want a home organizer that comes in there and has what I like to call a cookie clutter approach.
Cookie clutter?
Yes.
That's so clever. I love that. Also, they're just basing it on a process. This is a procedure, and they stick to it no matter what.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure that I would like that. I'm sure that would work for certain people, but I'm not sure that would be something I'd be particularly comfortable with. But it's something that you would want to find out up front.
Absolutely. You want your home organizer to be family friendly.
When I hired a home organizer, I felt that I was very organized. However, I may have been really organized at work, and I came to the realization that in the house there were areas that were freaking me out. Part of it was that we have the smallest walk-in closet ever in our bedroom, and it was just, you couldn't walk in there. It was crazy. And so I hired someone to help me out. What do you say with people who maybe they see themselves as organized, but they're also realizing that there may be a little bit of an issue that, like, how do you get them to realize that organized at work versus organized at home could be two very different things?
Oh, it absolutely is. But if somebody's already organized at work and they've been trained to do that there. Now, no one's trained them at home, so it's a very simple process and very easy for an already organized person to adopt and adapt to their own lifestyle. As you mentioned, it's the closet. Well,
Oh, God, yeah.
the closet. And if you could really get rid of half of your clothing in the closet, how much space would you have? You'd be able to find the tops that you want to wear exactly when you want to wear them. Nothing's lost in the dryer pile or the laundry hamper. Any article of clothing that doesn't bring you joy, you don't feel you look good in, get rid of it. Save that closet space for something that really looks good on you. And if it's something that's on sale but you need to pay an extra few dollars to get it altered, go ahead and do that. And
Alterations. No, you know what? A lot of people never think about alterations. That they think, okay, alterations, I don't know who to see. There's usually a shop in any of the malls. But they tend to think that everything has to fit immediately right off the rack. And they forget that, a little bit of tailoring. Yeah, you pay for the tailoring, but now you've got something that fits amazing. And you're not cluttering it by replacing that shirt that's not quite right with the next shirt that fits better. That's really quite clever.
It is. And there's another thing a lot of people have. When I go into somebody's closet, I find clothes that still have price tags on.
No.
And they've been there for 2 or 3 years. And that's a buying mistake, and we've all done it. I've done that in the past too, and I look at it. Every time I look at that article of clothing, I carry guilt.
Oh dear.
So it's stress. It's money that you've wasted, and you're not going to wear it for whatever reason. You know it doesn't look good on your body. You don't feel comfortable in it. Maybe it's just not your style. For some reason, you got talked into the mall, or you just had a crazy moment and you bought it.
Oh, okay.
So it's good to get rid of those. You can do that. You can bring them to a consignment store, get some of your money back, and really, once it's out the door, even if you donate it to a good cause, when the guilt goes, you're going to feel such a load off your shoulders.
Okay. Now, we're not talking about people who are hoarders. I mean, you've seen the TV shows, and they've got the house filled and it's all still have price tags on everything. This is just your average person who's made the purchase, put it in the closet, thought that they'd wear it at Christmas, and then they got something else for Christmas, and there's this dress that they've had 2 or 3 years and they've never worn. And maybe their body shape has changed, or it hasn't, but they've just never worn the dress again. Okay.
And when you mentioned about body sizes, another thing I like to tell customers, because quite a few of us, we do go through these weight fluctuations, and everybody has to think, well, if I lose weight, or what if I'm going to gain the weight back? I need to say, before you start decluttering your closet, decide that I'm only going to keep clothes between size, let's say size 8 and size 12. Anything else can go away. Pick 3 sizes and then toss or donate everything else that you have.
That's a really smart idea. So that makes a lot of sense, that you keep the 3 sizes. And I also noticed what if I gain weight again? Well, by limiting it, you're saying, okay, I'm not ever going to get to that weight again, hopefully. So that's it actually puts something in your head to make sure that you actually don't get there because you don't have those clothes. I find, now this is something that is, that happens, that people spend, for example, my husband and I could go shopping on a weekend and we'll blow $600.
Okay.
It could be that we're doing a Costco run, so of course you never walk out of there with less than $100. We'll be going to the mall, and we'll buy shoes, and we'll buy this, and we'll buy that, and we'll buy the other thing, and next thing you know, $600 or $700 just got blown over the weekend. And yet, when it comes to actually hiring people to do work around our house, we scrutinize everything, and we're really unwilling to fork out the money. I can't help but wonder, what the heck are we thinking?
That's a common way of thought for many people. Now, I do want to say I've had a client in the past, though, where she did realize that she had a problem and she was a buyer. She had no problem spending money at stores and she was hesitant to order my service, but her sister had encouraged her to do it. Well, honestly, within a week, with everything that she wasn't tossing, there was a few items that she tossed, but she really had a lot of good quality items from being, I wouldn't term her a shopaholic, but she did like to shop for good quality. By Kijiji, eBay, she made back more money than what she had paid for my service. So she was ahead of the game and she was happy with her space.
Well, we've just had some really great information, and let's face it, why wouldn't we want to get a little bit of help to declutter, de-stress, and have less arguments because we can't find things quickly or the house is a mess? Why not take the services of a home organizer? So thank you for joining us on this edition of Let's Face It. Thank you, Joanne. I really appreciate you coming by, and hopefully we'll have you back on the show again at another time.
I would love to come back, and thanks so much, Lorraine, for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Great. And see you next time on Let's Face It. I'm Lorraine Croston.
Okay, we're going to get this out, right?
I thought that was pretty good.
I like what you did, though, but then I made a face into the camera, and I guess you didn't see that.